All right, now we're going to look at our modeling software called Autodesk Inventor. So here it is over here. It's got the big I. I'm going to right click and I'm going to open. And again, this is a big program. It's got a lot of stuff in it. It works sort of recognizably with AutoCAD, but way different. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a new thing. We're going to create a new file. So I'm going to left click on that, and we're going to use the English US templates. So I'll click on that, and a standard, we're just going to make a regular part. They have different ways to make things, and it organizes them and does all sorts of stuff. We're just going to make a very simple little part, standard part. So there we go, and I'll create it. Then I have to figure out what it is that I'm going to model. Come up here in a minute. It's just a big blank work area, but that's okay. Here's what we're going to model. It's a coupler. This little piece here would fit into here, and they would lock onto two pieces of shaft, and when one turned, it would make sure the other one turned. And we can see it's basically a cylinder with a piece cut out of it right here and a piece on the back. And this isn't really well designed. These wouldn't actually fit together very well, but it'll give you an idea. It's really just to show you the power of this program. And it's got some extra stuff. It's got like surface finishes. This has to be smooth. And geometric tolerancing. This has to be symmetrical to this A bore. Can't be offset by more than 10,000ths of an inch. And here's the main feature itself is this bore. Okay, so there we go. And then it's got this weird thing called a section view. So that's what we're going to sort of do and represent. So we always start by drawing something flat, just like in AutoCAD. We draw something flat and then we press pull it. So I'm going to make something that is 3 inches long in that direction. And it's a 6-inch diameter. I'll zoom out with my scroll wheel. It goes the opposite of AutoCAD. And it's 3.5 on the inside. And so once I've got that done, that's my basic shape. And then I can extrude it. Kind of click into, get inside of it and click. And I know it needs to be 3 inches long. I want it to go back the other way. So this is always lined up as my front face. So there we go. So that's my start. And then on this front face, I'm going to cut a piece out. And I can do rectangles. Look, I can do this rectangle. I can make it 2 inches wide. Tab gets me to the other one. Oh, and it can be as long as I want. And it's going to extrude back in the other direction by 1 inch. There, look, isn't that cool? Now if I go to the back side, I can do the same thing. I can add that on. So I'm going to make an extrusion. Again, it'll be 2 inches wide and any amount long. But this time I'm going to have to give it some parameters to hit in here. So I'm going to make my inside circle, and it should lock right in on it. And lock right in on it. There we go. And now when I do my extrude, I can pick this little segment and this little segment, and there we go. And my part is almost done. So now the last thing I need is a new one, and I have to go look in this origin thing And then I need to see this. I need to be able to see inside of it. Where's my views? So I can change that to a wireframe. So my model says, if I get onto my little sketch mode here, that 1.97 inches in, 1.97 inches in, there's a little hole. I don't know what that hole is for, but it's there. And then if I extrude that thing, and I go back the other way, all the way through, and cut it out, it's going to put a hole in there. So now I'm going to go back and look at it like regular again, smooth with shaded edges. There we go. I've got the hole. If I hold my shift and the scroll wheel down, I kind of move around, but I usually just go check out these things. So I'm going to hit escape a few times, hit my front view, hit my eye. That's my shape. So that gets saved. File, save as, and I need to go put that. I'm going to put it in my, I'm going to call it coupler-demo. Instead of putting my initials on it. So that's the first thing. I've got a part. Pretty quick and easy. 4 simple steps. Now I want to make a drawing out of it, and I got to show you how to do that. Right click on the very top, and this is just one way. I open it up, go up to my coupler demo piece, right click and create a new drawing. And I'm going to use this IDW. And I don't really like their templates, so I'll just use this big one. And I'm going to show the front view. And it's going to be 1 to 4 because that's what's said before. So there it is. This is a huge piece of paper. So I have to change this sheet of paper. Right click on the sheet. Edit the sheet. Normally you'd have these all set up, but we just don't. We like you to have to practice. Make it a B-size sheet. There. And then if I get near it, the little move button comes up and I can press my left button and move it over here. There. Now I'm going to project it. That's that orthographic projection. I click where I want it, right click, create. That's cool. Now here's the really cool part. I can make that section. I'm going to make a section in this view. I'm going to start up here a ways. So I just find that center point and I move up. And then I move down till the center shows up. Left click, move over. Come down, right click, continue. Actually, I went too far down there. Let's just do that one right. Find your view, up to the center, over, right click, continue. There it goes. Now I have the whole thing. And click. There it is. And here's the most cool part. I can project that now. Get in on it. Click. And I want to come off of a corner. There it is. I come off of a corner. And that's the view I want. Click. Right click. Create. And now I can hover and I can move it. Is that too cool? That is amazing. I'm going to move this down and out of the way. Now I can go about putting my dimensions on it. That's on the Annotate tab. So I'm going to put my main overall outside dimension. And I don't want it to say radius. Right click, dimension type diameter. Okay, then another one. Right click, dimension type, diameter. Cool. Now that one had a little A below, but we're going to do that later. Now I'm going to do some center marks. So I'm going to center mark those two items and those two. So I've got all my center marks in there. And I'm going to do another center line from the midpoint to the midpoint. It's all cool. And I'm going to center mark again. I'm going to center mark this little thing right over there. There. Now I'm ready to put some dimensions in over here. These ones are depth dimensions. 1, 3, and 4. This dimension across here is 2. And this dimension is 2. And when you get into this more in the design classes, we go about how to make sure these all fit and all that kind of stuff. I just want you to be able to click, click, click and do some stuff. You do not have to know anything about what all these mean. Just making sure that you can click, click, click. So dimension again, this thing gets a dimension. It's a diameter of 0.8. And it rests from that corner to that quadrant. Not sure I put that in the right spot. But that's okay. I'm going to do that. And there we go. So that's got that all set. And the last thing is something called datums. And you don't really need to know too much about it. Identifier symbol, that gets an A right below it. Double click. OK. And that's supposed to be 3 decimal places. Double click. Precision. 3 decimal places. And this thing has what's called a feature control frame under it. So you just hit feature control, bring it under it, double click, and we use symmetrical, type in 0.010 and an A. And then that also goes on the one up above. Hit escape. And the last thing is something called a surface finish. Surface. Find this little line here. Bring it down. Bring it over. Double click. And type in 32 by the A prime. There. You've got it. That is a full mechanical coupler drawing for us. There's a lot more that goes into a full mechanical detail, but this is pretty good. And I just want you to get a touch for it. You'll learn more about this in Design 302 and Design 328 and Design 331. Okay, those are the classes where we really delve into all this kind of cool stuff. But we get you good at modeling as you go. You'll do some Inventor in 320. You'll do a little bit in 302. You'll do a lot in 328, and you'll do a lot in 331. Okay, and we use Inventor. SolidWorks is probably the most used in industry. If you can do Inventor, you can do SolidWorks, and back and forth. They are very, very, very similar. All right, so there you go. You're going to say, oh, now I have to save this. Sorry. File, save as. This is an IDW. Okay, and when you submit these, you have to submit both files. Your IPT, that's the part, and your IDW. That's your drawing. You do have to submit both.